What is good, everybody? It is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again, joined by the pettiest man alive. Mr. P Kid is in the building-ish, kind of, sort of, like we used to be. We got a lot to get into today, man. On today's show, Lonzo Ball seems to be the news around every Chicago Bulls outlet. At this point, KC Johnson going on Unfiltered saying that seems like the Bulls are preparing to start at least training camp without him being there. How does that linger into the season? We'll see on that. Also, gotta talk about how we're ranking duos out here. Are we doing DeMar, Zach, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray, which some interesting ones in there because injury really plays a part into that. And then we're going to talk about the NBA trying to come up with remedies to fix players asking for trades. How you going to do that? We'll talk about all that and more on today's show. Also, Ray Allen's GOAT. Who is that? Let's go! What's good, y'all? We are back at it again for another episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this show. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks, so make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Also, get up on some of that Breeze merch. I don't know if y'all seen the website, man. New bomber jacket on that mug, man. New bomber jacket. Get in tune with that. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I designed that mug. I gotta see when that mug show up, but that mug's saucy. That mug looking saucy out here. So shout out to y'all, man. It's going to get you ready for bull season. We got Bears merch coming. I like
a good bomber jacket.
Hey, man. Bro, you got to check it out. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I got a socks one that I'm investing in. It was a leather bomber. Oh man, I had to get it.
Hey,
I ain't gonna be able to wear that joint for like 3-4 months. And guess what?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what's crazy? Are you like me, right? Like, most of my fashion, like in the summertime, I look like a schmuck. I'm not gonna lie to you, because it's all like, it's hot. I want to be comfortable. It's shorts and t-shirt because it's hot. All my fashion is for winter. I started looking through my closet and I was like, I can't wear none of this because I'm gonna be burning up in this.
I'm a fall dude. I'm a sweater, hoodie, jean dude. I'm not a real. Spring and fall, summer for some odd reason. Summertime is just muggy. Like, it's never a good sunny day in Chicago. If it's hot, it's too hot. If it's warm, it's extra humid, so you don't want to be outside anyway. You can't breathe.
Hey, Chicago's
like, a good mix.
Summer,
it's like 70 degrees.
Yeah, Chicago summer is fire after 4 p.m. It's the best time in Chicago for summer, right? Because Chicago summer nights are lit. But like Chicago summertime during the day, something like you said, it'd be like, man, it is like 1,000,000 degrees. But like buying the house and stuff, the sun is above our house at noon and it's past our house by like 2 p.m. If I'm out on my back porch at 2 p.m., I'm like, bro, it's a great day out here. But if I walk around in front of the house, I'm like, it's baking. Let me go back to the other side.
Grass be all discolored because the sun.
The grass is mad brown out here, bro. We had no water out here, man. I'm salty. But man, let's get into some of this NBA talk, man. Of course, getting into some Chicago Bulls talk to start the show off, and then we're going to get into some other topics as well. But KC Johnson went on Unfiltered talking about the Chicago Bulls and said that by their words and by their action, they're preparing for the potential of Lonzo Ball not being ready for training camp. And again, when we talk about the Lonzo Ball situation, we are talking about a situation that will be lingering into month 8 if we get to training camp. And this was supposed to be a 6 to 8 week surgery with, and then there was a bone bruise that caused more complications and things like that, right? But excuse me. But this was supposed to be a quick turnaround, and we're getting into month 8 on this. If the Bulls are forced to kind of go into training camp and possibly the start of the season without Lonzo Ball, how do you feel like this team ends up being shaped out? Do you feel confident that this Bulls team can still win quite a few games? You've still got Ayo, Zach, DeMar, Vooch is still on the team. You're hoping P. Will takes that step. How do you feel like this team shapes out if Lonzo Ball's not there pushing the ball for you?
I feel great. I mean, I honestly felt like they didn't use Lonzo Ball the way they should have. And so while I really would have wanted him to take the leap himself as far as being the go-to playmaker for us, I feel really confident about what Ayo brings to the table. I feel really confident about what Alex Caruso brings to the table. I know DeMar and Zach can handle the ball at least as well. Dalen Terry's played point before. He's a guard. You know, like we got a lot of ball handlers. And then on top of that, the Dragon is here. Gordon Dragic. We know he's a vet, longtime vet, but he can absolutely, you know, run the point or at least initiate the offense. And so I'm confident because all we got is what we all got. What we got, Pat?
Guards. That's all we got. Guards. We got guards.
Got a bunch of guards, baby. Hey, listen, we had a power forward, 6'4". That's a guard. I don't care what nobody's talking about, right? So I'm confident. Hey, the one thing I will say is I hate to say it this way too, because it sounds like I'm trashing. It ain't like Zach's not starting. It ain't like DeMar's not starting the season.
Yeah.
It's really like our third option not starting the season. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. If I got a healthy Zach, I got a healthy DeMar, I got a healthy Vooch. I'm okay with that. I really am.
I think the question mark comes in, right? And like you said, with the Dragon, right? Is the Dragon going to end up getting 25 minutes a game? That's the scary part, right? Like I'm not looking to see the Dragon get 25 minutes a game out here. But now why his switch? Oh no, wait. Why did his switch the banner when it went to me? Like I'm only doing the personal social media out here. We got to fix that on the other side. But no, right? Like I think that when you're talking about, right, the Dragon possibly getting 25 minutes a game, and if that's even coming into it, right? Like he said, when you actually go through and look at what was translated and what was actually said by Goran Dragic, he basically says, "I want to play 25 minutes a game," and the Bulls said they could give me that opportunity. But here's the thing for me, right, where I feel like you might need Lonzo a little bit more and you might miss him a little bit more. Ayo Dosunmu's not really the kind of guard who's going to end up getting out on that break and pushing the tempo. Now, you could see that change there where, you know, now it's a different season. It's a different world, right? He's pushing the tempo. He's moving the ball down the field. He's down the court. He's trying to get the team running. But that's the one thing Lonzo Ball does bring. That's the one thing that you know that Lonzo Ball is going to give you. He's going to push that ball down the court. And especially with the rule change, right, where you're talking about now, they're taking away the take foul and making it a one free throw and possession of the ball play. Like you could be talking about Lonzo Ball getting Zach LaVine an extra 7 points a game off of just fast break passes, getting the ball up the court. And so I think that there's going to be a little bit missed with him, but it's also based on seeing the development of Lonzo, the development of Dalen Terry. I'm sorry, the development of Ayo, the development of Dalen Terry, and what Goran Dragic is going to bring to the court.
You know, the one thing we never had a problem with was pace. The Bulls have always been a very fast-paced team, at least last season. Yeah. We've had all three players. And so those players being Zach, DeMar, Vooch. Ayo is a playmaker. We've gotten a chance to see him be a playmaker. We saw Billy give him the opportunity to be a playmaker. We saw Billy give him a chance to close a game out. So at this point, I'm confident. I'm more than confident because the one thing I do know is the young talent we have, I know Billy's the right coach for that young talent. Older talent, you know, superstars, we working on that part because Billy has fumbled the bag when it comes to those superstars before, and I think everyone can admit that. Yeah, but with them young players, we know he gets the most out of those young players, and so I feel confident from that perspective. Only thing that I know we would definitively miss outside of Ayo is the defense that Lonzo Ball brings. You can't replace 6'7", 6'8". long wingspan, can stand in front of everybody. I've seen Lonzo in a pinch stick some really big players.
We saw him guarding Giannis last season at time.
I've seen him guard Giannis at times, and so can I expect Ayo to do that? Absolutely not. But
nah,
that's the barbecue.
How tall is Ayo? Ayo what, 6'5"?
I thought he was 6'4". I could be wrong.
He might be 6'4", 6'5". I know he's got a ridiculous wingspan. I think he's got a 6'10" wingspan. Defensively, Ayo gives you a lot. And the thing that you love is, right, like Ayo was one of the best defenders in the NBA last year, not just among rookies, but among all players. And you know that he's going to bring the defensive intensity. The interesting thing is going to be kind of how he gets involved offensively and who's going to take that step this season. I think that's the part that most Bulls fans question most, right? Because you're talking about possibly a guy who offensively, it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to contribute to this team because you hate to say, right, like, yeah, he scored in college, but that doesn't mean he can do it in the pros. But it's about, does he feel comfortable getting his shot? Does he feel comfortable taking his shot? Does he feel comfortable kind of forcing his way into this offense? Because now, right, like, we know what AK wants from Patrick Williams. We know what AK wants out of Zach LaVine and out of DeMar DeRozan. Like, he wants that to be your 1, 2, and 3 scoring wise. He doesn't care which 3 it is, right? Then you're talking about Vooch probably being your 4. How does Ayo kind of find his way into that mix offensively? And a lot of times when those guys don't get involved offensively in the game, they tend to shy away from the shot. And I think we saw that a ton last season. I think that's that's a spot right where Lonzo wasn't scared. Lonzo in the fourth quarter, when he was the only one healthy, Lonzo was one of the people that was bailing us out with the 3 ball. We've won games out of the 30 games we play, right? There's probably 2 or 3 games where Lonzo won games for the Chicago Bulls by coming down, knocking down big threes, coming down, knocking down 3-4 3-pointers and getting the Bulls back into a game, right? So it's a big deal that you lose Lonzo, but it doesn't hurt as much if the moves you've made this offseason pan out. If Justin Lewis turns into a spot-up shooter, if Ayo Dosunmu can find a shot, if Goran Dragic does get, I mean, like, I don't know how Goran Dragic ends up getting 25 minutes
off the bench is very possible, and I absolutely love it.
You think he's going to get 25 minutes?
I think that right now for our bench players, with him entering this, him just being on the Bulls, they get him on the Bulls.
Yeah,
he's probably the second best option off the bench.
Offensively,
he's the second best option. Drake, he got a bag, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean,
get it done.
I mean, I would agree that offensively he's definitely a good option.
Defensively is a liability.
That's the problem, best. Right? And that's why I think you bring him in kind of like, I think the only minutes he's gonna actually get an opportunity to take away are Kobe's. And the one thing we know that is at a minimum,
absolutely,
Kobe's gonna start the season playing. Like at a minimum, we know, like Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan, I'm not saying he's going to start. I'm saying he's going to start, like he's going to play over Dragic in the beginning. Billy Donovan has been really good about giving people enough rope to hang themselves with.
About that one.
When Larry Markkinen left Chicago, we were like, why y'all still playing him? He clearly don't want to be on this team. And he was like, go on out there and show what you can do. Because I don't want to hear nothing about you got an untapped gym there. Wendell Carter had all the opportunity he could to be the starting 5 on that team when AK saw him. And we were sitting there, and Wendell Carter got traded the day he went up for a dunk and bounced it off the front of the rim.
This is the part where you have to really be realistic, in my opinion. I'm not saying that you're not, but I don't see Kobe White starting over Dragon. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. The one thing I know about Dragon that Kobe White doesn't have just as of yet is IQ. Dragon has a higher IQ. Yeah. That's just, now he didn't show that when he got dunked on by Derrick Rose. However,
wasn't he a rookie though? He was a rookie, wasn't
he? Whatever it was, that was a Kobe White mistake, and he lives in infamy.
No, that was a Yuta Watanabe mistake. That was a Yuta Watanabe mistake.
But
10 times out of 10, baby.
Well, if you looked at last season and you saw the talent that you have on this roster, there's no way in the world that if Lonzo was down, Ayo doesn't get the nod to start, or Alex Caruso doesn't get.
No, Ayo's gonna start at your point guard. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And unless the only thing I can see right is they go Alex Caruso,
which I wouldn't be mad at.
I wouldn't be mad at it. It would be interesting to me. I would rather have Caruso off of the bench to have that veteran presence off the bench. But Alex Caruso did say that he's ramping his body up and prepping his body to prepare to play 30 minutes plus. 30 minutes, you could be 6 man of the year. Most 6 men are playing 30 minutes somewhere in there. But 30 minutes, you could be talking about Alex Caruso preparing this season to be your starting point guard on this team over Ayo Dosunmu just because of experience, IQ, age, you know what I'm saying? And Ayo being the backup, which is still a heck of a defensive handoff.
Yeah, you got to look at it like this. 6 minutes per quarter is 24 minutes. So if he does 7 minutes per quarter, that's about 28. That's about half of a quarter. I can see Billy. All depends on Billy's rotation.
Yeah.
And at the point guard position, I can absolutely see Alex Caruso getting that opportunity. You know, you bump up Io's minutes a little bit. You bring in that second unit. I mean, the second unit, him getting 30 minutes gives him an opportunity that he just didn't have, you know, the year prior, just due to injury. And I would say it gives him the same type of impact or opportunity to have the impact that he did on the Lakers. I don't remember what his minutes were, but I know that he made the most of them, and he was like a household name there. I mean, he started to make his name there. That's why we were excited to have him. So I'm really just, my biggest concern is just defensively. I don't care what else happens. Defensively, I just want to see who actually starts. And I don't think you can go wrong either way. I don't think you go wrong with Alex Caruso. I don't think you go wrong with Ayo Dosunmu.
Yeah.
I think Goran starting would not happen.
That would go wrong.
Just due to age. Yeah,
if Goran starts, you went wrong.
yeah, you went wrong.
Yeah,
unless Goran is cooking. That's the one thing about Goran is Goran has had moments where he was the hottest person on the squad.
Yeah. Oh, and Miami's worst move. Did Goran leave or did they just not re-up on Goran? I think that was their worst move. Miami's
really interesting.
Miami's probably in the NBA Finals if Goran Dragic is on that team.
Miami letting PJ Tucker just walk. Miami letting Goran walk. Miami letting what's that other dude? Really high energy. Oh man, he had a really good impact for him too. They let some defensive presence go, but people who can still put the ball in the hoop. And I was just like, man, what is Pat thinking? Like, what is Riley? But I was like, what is Pat? What is Pat doing? Like, what is you? Why wasn't Portis? No, Portis was not on Miami.
No,
Portis was on. Somebody else was on Miami. That I was just like, why would you let him walk?
Whiteside?
I didn't get it.
Hassan Whiteside?
No, I won't say Hassan Whiteside.
No. He had an impact.
Just not the right one. But you know what? That kind of brings up the conversation because, you know, Miami Bulls, you know, Gordon has been on the Nets. You know, just a segue into some duos here because that was the topic that came up. You know, there's some dynamic duos within the league. How do you rank them?
I love that.
I think you got the list. What's the list?
I love that we're back to a point where we're talking about two mostly and not three. I love that.
That's nice.
Because, like, dog, when it was three, it was like, who's your favorite trio? It was like, well, I don't know, but the rest of the league sucks.
Facts.
So the list.
To go trio, I'm going Clippers, though.
Bro, I'm going to be real with you. I'm not ready for this impact that everybody thinks John Wall is going to make. Like, you got to show me. And not to say I don't think John Wall can't play no more. Not to say that I don't think John Wall can't get to the bucket no more. But, bro, like, John Wall, like, while I love John Wall, the last time we saw the real John Wall was 6 years ago. 6 years ago. Like, I don't think people really understand how long ago it was that we saw John Wall dominating a court. It was 6 years ago. That is a long. How old is he now? 33?
I think so.
That means that he was
27.
27? The last time he was dominating? That's a long time and a lot of age. Now, I'm not saying that he can't find a role there, but I'll say this, right? The people that are like, oh, he's starting. There's no way I'm starting John Wall over Reggie Jackson. There's no way.
John Wall over Norman Powell.
Well, Norman Powell ain't playing the point. And John Wall can't shoot enough to be a 2.
I'll be honest with you. PG should be the point.
I've been saying that the whole time. PG and Kawhi only work for me if Paul George is the point.
And PG, when he did fill that role, did pretty well. I think his assists went up.
Hey, well, he didn't have a choice. Everybody else was dead.
That's true. But he did pretty well.
It was like, do we pass the ball to PG or just let him take it out? Just let him take it out. He was bouncing it off people's backs at a certain point. But here's the question, right? Bleacher Report dropped this question today. I thought it was an interesting question to bring to the show. And I added in our own pair because for some reason we got disrespected. I don't know what's up with that, man. Maybe because they ain't been together that long. But how do you rank these duos? They got Giannis and Drew Holiday 1. I don't know if this is how they're ranking them or if this is just the order they put them in. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray 2. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving 3. Joel Embiid and James Harden 4. Kawhi and Paul George 5. And then I added in DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine at 6. How would you rank those? Who you going number 1 to start?
I could be wrong, but let me pull up the list myself. But I got to go with the championship, the tandem that won the chip as 1. I think that's just only fair. Let me see. Yeah, I got to go with the tandem that won the chip as 1. Giannis and Drew Holiday really changed that whole thing. And Drew Holiday came up big defensively against the Phoenix Suns in that run. I mean, that's DPOY right
you
there.
Want to know what popped up?
Doing, but that's DPOY.
You want to know what popped up on my feed? Because Drew Holiday's been there, 3 years now? He was there a year and they lost, right? Or was he there the whole time?
I think they won the year.
He came to championship year. So there's a video of us and you're killing Drew Holiday. And it was hilarious. It popped up on Facebook. I had to share a clip. And you're killing Drew Holiday. You're like, they traded all these goddamn picks for you and you ain't did nothing today. I saw that. I think I saw that 2-3 days ago. And I was dying laughing because I was like, it's amazing how a championship make us forget all of that.
Man, no.
And he was the reason that they really... I can't say he's the reason, but he's a big part of why they won that championship. Chris Middleton is probably, if we're going to give anybody credit, as much as I hate to give him credit, Chris Middleton's finals performance is one of the best performances I've seen by a single player in a long time. On top of Giannis's final performance. Them mugs was both. Middleton was cooking in the finals. Middleton was killing, and he was killing, who was it? Was it Steele? Oh, I know who you're talking about. He went to. That's who you're talking about. Jay Crowder, right?
Jay Crowder.
From Miami. That's who you was talking about. He was on Miami? He was on Miami, and he ended up going to Phoenix.
Dog, Crowder's a dog.
Hey. He was getting cooked by Chris Middleton.
I'm a Chris Middleton fan, though.
You don't
understand how this...
I don't hate Chris Middleton. I hate how people talk about Chris Middleton.
You do.
No.
You hate Chris Middleton. No. You hate Chris Middleton with a passion.
No, this is what I hate about
how much smoke you have for Chris Middleton, dog.
No, this is what I hate about Chris Middleton, right? The same thing that you dislike about, you know what it is? We watch Kobe closer. But the same Kobe's averages for a bench 2 aren't bad. But we watched every single game and we say, yeah, he had 30 here. Then he had 7, 6, 4, 12, 10, 2. Yeah, I mean, that's my only beef with Chris Middleton. That's the only beef I got with Chris Middleton. People throw these averages that Chris Middleton gives at me. And then I'm like, okay, but he didn't play well here. He didn't play well here. He didn't play well here. He had 50 here. That's going to impact your average.
The one thing I will say in his defense is when you play with Giannis, you have to really look at the games in which he don't cook. Giannis has 50.
Nah,
the games
bro.
in which he cooks, Giannis has 20.
Nah, bro. That game where what was that? Was that them against Brooklyn? Wasn't it? It was them against Brooklyn where Giannis was out.
Watch this.
Trash.
Watch this. Hold on. We go do this on tape. I want you to type in Chris Middleton's finals.
No. I have no. That's why I said Chris Middleton in the finals. It's one of the best performances I've seen.
Just rock with me for a second. It's gonna be real quick. It's gonna take a minute. Just put in final stats. I'm not saying you wrong. I'm just saying we're gonna take this bet.
Let's see, Chris Middleton.
It should be a stat muse that show you his final stats and give you all 6, 7 games.
Yeah, I got it right here.
All right, so what did he score for game 1?
24, 6, 5. 24, 6, and 5 is his average. Game 1, 29. Game 2, 11.
All right, so hold on. Game 129. Would you say that's going off for him?
Oh yeah, 29-74. Yeah, he went off.
So he went off. Giannis had 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2, he had 11. Giannis had 42.
Yeah, but see, here's hold on.
Game 3, what did he have?
Hold on. Here's my rebuttal to that. How many shots he take that game?
How many shots who take that game?
You ain't got Chris shots. You ain't got Chris Middleton stats up. Game
I'm
2.
looking at Giannis.
Chris Middleton took 16 shots and shot 31%.
On what game?
Huh?
On game 2?
In game 2. That's what I'm saying. Like I get you. But game 3.
So the games in which Giannis didn't cook, which 20 and 17 is cooking.
I was gonna say it's still cooking, brother.
He only took 11 shots. He made 6. When he dropped 40, he took 22 shots.
So
in game 3, what did he do in game 3?
18, 7, and 6. He shot 42%, 6 for 14. It's a pretty good game. Shot 3 for 7 from the 3-point line.
41 and 13 off 23 shots.
I'm cool with 18, 7, and 6 though.
So here's the kicker. What's game 4?
46 and 4.
That's the game where Giannis scored less than 30. It's 26 points. Like literally
26 points. Bro, when we talk about 26 points, bro, that's not a small number.
It's not a small number. But unfortunately, by Giannis, this is what I noticed. And this, correct me if I'm wrong. Bucks fans, correct me if I'm wrong. J-Mar's definitely going to correct me if I'm wrong.
That none of them like Chris Middleton.
Which is wild.
None of them like Chris Middleton.
I tell you what. Send him this way. Send him this way. Trade him this way.
Hey! After the contract is done.
Oh, he's worth the price of admission.
Chris Middleton on a Lonzo Ball deal is perfect.
Chris Middleton is a better closer than Zach.
Sure, but Chris Middleton also might not get you to the point where you can close.
Zach may not get me to the point where it close, depending on if we go by last season we saw. So I mean,
we closed out a lot of games last season, though. I'm just saying.
The only person I saw closing out a lot of games was DeMar.
Oh yeah. Hey, if we comparing him to the dude with one leg, sure, let's go with it. Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you're comparing Chris Middleton right now to the dude that had one knee last year based on last season numbers, yeah, all right, they was close.
You know what? I was just being. I was joking. I know some people are gonna take that seriously, but for the Bulls fans, yes, I do think Zach brings more to the table all the way around from an athletic perspective and things like that than Chris Middleton. However, what Chris does well, he does well, and as far as what we value, as far as closing out games, especially with the Bulls logo on our jerseys and stuff like that, we're used to seeing people close out games.
Is his defensive prowess worth his contract?
Yes.
Then he's worth his contract. In your opinion, because that's the one thing I won't say. Chris Middleton's an excellent defender. He's a great defender. And that I won't take away from him. I just have always thought, and maybe I'm wrong for that, because Rudy Gobert absolutely has a $200 million deal and got traded for 13 people.
Facts.
I mean, so maybe I need to adjust my thinking on that. But I feel like if I'm paying that money to somebody, they at least given me Zach numbers. Like, I love the defense, but like usually those big money guys like that, like you don't see the dudes that are, well, I guess he's kind of the only one. It's not really another player like that. All the other ones like Paul George and all them must. That's the range of contract he in, basically. That's tough.
Here's the thing. As a second option, if your second option is giving you 25 and 5,
yeah,
and he can stick anyone 1 through 5, 1 through 4. I give him 1 through 4. 1 through 4.
Yeah.
What
you might be swaying me on Chris Middleton for once. If the defense is worth it, and for some reason me saying Rudy Gobert instantly was like, well, defense is worth $200 million. He's all defense.
What was Chris Middleton's contract that made you so?
Ain't Chris Middleton making like $35 million a year?
So $35 million a year.
Let me see. Chris Middleton.
$35 million a year. You're right.
Dang, I was spot on
was
that.
30, 33,
now it sounds
35.
like hate. I called the contract out verbatim. Now it sounds like hate.
It's 30, 33, 35. This season he's making 37. Next season he's making 40. And you got to think when he signed that contract, they won a championship, and he closed it out. He's part of the. Yeah, he signed that extension. The extension kicked in 2019, 2020.
They won 2021 next year. Next year he won.
So
but yeah,
they paid him $33 million, and he showed up.
Hey,
and showed out.
It's interesting. What the weird part is, right? Do you think that's weird though? Because they went. So here is that more disrespectful by Bleacher Report? They went Giannis and Drew. Not. Well, I guess. No, they went Giannis. They went Giannis and Drew, not Giannis and Chris Middleton. And to me, right, like if you're going point guard and somebody else tandem, that makes sense. But they finish it with James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Well, they have to have an LA team on there. And I think it's disrespectful. They don't have LeBron James and AD on there. I think that's mad disrespectful because healthy, that's a championship team. And anytime both of them were playing, it was really hard to get around the freaking LA. I don't care what nobody says. I don't like.
Didn't we smoke them?
I don't want AD in a Bulls jersey, but a healthy AD and a healthy LeBron, you had a tough time. You had a really tough time. So I don't know who made the list.
Didn't we smoke them with both of them playing though?
We would smoke them one game.
Oh no! I think it was a close game. That was the DeMar closed it out with the dagger. I think in Chicago.
We would smoke them one game, and then the next game, either both of them or one of them would go off, and they'd be like, "God dang!" Like, how's LeBron?
We swept them last year.
And if you looked at like AD, I watched some AD tape, and here's the interesting part: do you realize that Kyrie Irving has played more games than KD, and I think more games than AD in the last 3 seasons?
Well, KD makes sense because KD missed an entire season. So it would be tough for him to play less games than KD. Actually, both of those names aren't surprising because didn't AD also miss an entire season just about?
But here's the thing. Kyrie missed because of COVID, but no one everyone's like, he's not available. He's not this, he's not that. He got injured twice. And they hold that against him. It's like he didn't make it in the playoffs. Like he rolled his ankle. Like what do you like? What do you want him to do? Like well, he's always injured. It's like, yeah, no,
he is. He's never played a full. Now listen, the last 2 years have been because of
New York
personal choice and Brooklyn and all of that stuff, right? But before those 2 years, and by the way, those are the healthiest years of Kyrie in the playoffs. Actually, no, he got hurt in the playoffs that first year.
Giannis.
I think Giannis hurt him both times. Actually, no, Zaza hurt him the first time, right?
Slid underneath him. He rolled his ankle.
Zaza hurt him the first time. It's a tough debate to make because there are reasons why he was hurt for a couple of them.
Legitimate reasons.
And then, reasons that happened during the game. And then other times it was just like Kyrie with the knee in Boston. His knee just went out. He had surgery on it. And then he just never really gelled with that team because that team decided to move on. But it was because of Kyrie having injury.
I also don't understand, and for those who don't know, yeah, I am a Kyrie Irving fan.
Clearly, because every topic ends up on Kyrie. I don't even know how we got here.
I was going to Kyrie because I was going to say Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving was 2 on my list. Healthy. I mean, we saw healthy Kyrie and KD made Giannis say that's the best player in the world. They was cooking Milwaukee. Both games was like blowouts.
We also saw a healthy KD and Kyrie not win a game though. I went back and watched that too. I put a lot more of it on Steve Nash now.
I put a lot more
of it on Steve. Now I was watching it yesterday and I was like, he's not like as mad as you can be about Billy Donovan at times, like some Bulls fans are, I don't never want to see nobody compare Billy Donovan to Steve Nash. Steve Nash is a bad head coach. He's a really, really bad head coach. Like there were moments where Nash looked. Do you remember? See, this is me like going down rabbit holes and stuff. But do you remember on what was the show where it had all the players? The original one. It was on NBA TV, and like Ernie was hosting it. And it had like Isaiah Thomas on there.
All the legendary players sitting around.
All the players were sitting around. I can't think of the name of the show. Something, was it On the Court? On the Court or Open Court or something like that?
You see clips of it all the time.
The time. It's still hilarious. I still go back and watch episodes. I love watching NBA greats just talk about basketball. But he was talking about Kenny Smith was talking about certain types of coaches. And Chris Webber was saying that the worst thing in the world is when you see a coach just, all right, he called a timeout and he just, all right, hold on. So what we want to do, guys, is, oh, dang. And you ain't drew nothing up. And you ain't calling no play. I feel like that's Steve Nash. When I went back and watched that series, it sounded like he was just regurgitating stuff that Mike D'Antoni had told him one time.
Did Mike D'Antoni wasn't on the bench for the playoffs, was he?
No, he was there.
He was there?
He was there. I don't know. I don't know why Steve Nash isn't a great, and maybe it's because he's a rookie head coach and he's trying to figure it out on the fly and he'll get better. And I'm not saying that those things aren't possible, but what I saw of him in year one didn't tell me that that's the coach you needed to go get when you had, like, that's the coach you could have went and got for the Bulls 3 years ago. That's not the coach you go get when you got KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, who wasn't playing, Seth Curry, Blake Griffin, who gave you some good run in that final game. You know what I'm saying? Like LaMarcus Aldridge, Bruce Brown was developing. Like, that's not the coach you go get in that moment.
It's like he was afraid to play big at moments he needed to play big. And I didn't understand that. It's like he wanted to stick to this small ball thing, but he wasn't really keeping in mind, one, no screens or anything really being set. No set plays made for KD to get open.
No.
And it's like, hey, Kevin Durant is still 7 freaking feet. It's hard. It's a lot harder for him to create that space than most people want to admit. He's not physically imposing like Giannis. Boston really played into him. They really, really played physical with him. So it's like, hey, playing physical with Giannis, you're not going to get that because Giannis is going to bump you off. Hey, you could try it if you want to, little fella. Excuse me, right? It didn't really affect Giannis. Kevin Durant is a jump shooter. Kevin Durant is a finesse player. Kevin Durant isn't a power player. That's not hating on him because he's still one of the best offensive players that have ever graced the basketball floor. But you can see the game plan was really just to be physical with him. And he didn't play big. Time Lord came in a couple times and was just like, crack the game open. It's like, you may not like Drummond, but this is a good time to play Drummond. Like, make it difficult.
I think that's the tough part.
You may not like LaMarcus Aldridge, but guess what? LaMarcus Aldridge knows how to use his body. This is the time you slow him down a little bit.
That was a miss.
You slow him down.
I don't think you got to play huge. LA and Blake Griffin would have been a great tandem to put out there.
If he got him some runs early.
I don't think you got to play huge. I think LA and Griffin would have been a great tandem to put out there because, like, I will say this, right? As much as I love Drummond, I'm glad that we got Drummond as the Philly Drummond and not Drummond as Brooklyn Drummond. Drummond looked bad in Brooklyn. Like, I went back and watched it and I was like, all right, like, he looked like he did. No, you look bad, bro. Like, he was struggling to stay in front, but also, right, like, I can't say Drummond looked bad because the team looked bad. Like, the team looked like they didn't have a system. They didn't have a defensive scheme set, which isn't surprising at all. I mean, it's not like them Phoenix teams were known for playing great defense. They didn't have a defensive scheme set. They didn't have they looked lost defensively. And if your team looks completely lost defensively, there's no part that Andre Drummond's going to be able to help you with. Like, him as an offensive player is, let me get down here, throw me some oops. I'm going to hit this one spin move that I got and put this float up, and we going to run pick and roll. You're not running pick and roll really with Kyrie and Drummond.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Like Kyrie's a scorer. You run pick and Kyrie, you do whatever you do, and we're gonna keep setting these screens. You don't run pick and roll with Kyrie and Irving. That's why I'm excited about Kyrie and Irving, dummy. Kyrie and Drummond. That's why I'm excited about him coming here, right? Because Isles gonna run pick and roll with him. Dragon's gonna dominate on pick and roll with him. Caruso's gonna run pick and roll with him. And listen, Drummond is a willing passer, and he's not a terrible passer. Drummond to get that ball and throw it right back. And you got some dudes that can fly passing him the ball.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about him coming here. KD and Kyrie, it's tough for me to get them too. Mostly because like they also don't want to play in Brooklyn anymore. So it's like, are they playing well together?
Well, the latest report says Kyrie.
Hey, listen. They ain't got no choice now. Hey, did you see the trade talks between LA? Somebody wrote one of the insiders put out like what the trades were back and forth, and it was like Russell Westbrook and a first round pick for Kyrie. And they sent back like, we'll send you Kyrie and Seth Curry for Russell Westbrook, THT, somebody else, and a first round pick. And then the Lakers sent back like Russell West, and it went back and forth. And then like the last one was like, we'll send you Russ and THT for Kyrie, Russ, THT, and a first and a second for Kyrie Irving straight up. And Brooklyn was like, no. I was like, oh, y'all didn't want to trade him.
Oh, you crazy.
Y'all didn't want to trade him.
You crazy. I would have took that deal.
Y'all didn't want to trade him.
Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook, THT, a first and a second? You smoking. What?
Now, I will say this. You have more love for THT than I do. THT is LA's Kobe White to me. But, and I don't think going to play, right? You also have to take into account the situation. Is THT with Steve Nash a good player? Because he didn't look like a good player with Frank Vogel, and I don't think the system is too much different. The system on both of them teams is literally, hey,
get KD the ball.
We got a superstar player and another superstar player. Let's figure it out.
Figure it out. hey, he's over here. He's over here. You shouldn't be shooting.
That's it.
That's
bro.
all that is.
I would say my second best in the league tandem, I would probably go with, now I know we haven't seen it a ton, but I would probably go with Kawhi and PG just because I think that tandem has a chance to do more. I think the Kyrie and KD experiment might have another year, and that's not even going to be a tandem at that point. And when we saw them play together against Milwaukee, they dominated. And maybe it's because of the rule change. We saw the change in how the game was being called. But if we're going towards a more physical NBA, you're probably talking about KD getting played like that in the playoffs.
The reason why I don't put Paul George and Kawhi as a good tandem is because they didn't look good together on the floor. To me, if Kawhi and Paul George, it was, all right, Kawhi, you shoot. All right, now it's my turn. The best Paul George looked is when Kawhi went down. The best Kawhi looked was when he was on
Paul George wasn't there. Do they? We kind of talked about it. Did we talk about it earlier? I think we talked about it. Do they do a scenario where PG is the point? PG is an excellent passer. He's a willing passer. Here's the thing as well, right? Like Reggie Jackson kind of took an ascendance since Kawhi's been gone. So we haven't seen it with Reggie Jackson.
By the way, AK, if you really want to make a trade, I would wholeheartedly encourage you to go get Reggie Jackson. Reggie be cooking.
Who you gonna trade for?
Hey, I don't know. Make it work.
I mean, it sounds good. Are we throwing trades out there like that?
Know.
Hey, AK, if we throwing trades out there like that, bro, while you at it, just go grab Jokic.
Exactly, ain't nowhere near Jokic level. That's why. Hey, listen, the trades I be coming up with, they realistic. Reggie Jackson is a realistic acquisition. It's gonna take some finagling, but you know what they need? Lonzo Ball look real good in the Clippers jersey. All I'm saying is I would trade for him. That's all I'm saying.
We got to see if Lonzo Ball even gonna be healthy enough to get in a Clippers jersey. Hey, let's see him in a Bulls jersey for more than 30 games, and then we might be able to talk about trading him.
Man, listen, I love Lonzo, but I ship Lonzo out for Reggie Jackson and a package for Reggie Jackson so fast. Y'all just have no idea. I would.
I don't know, bro, because
what
Reggie
brings to the table, I kind of already got.
Yeah, but
and we didn't even use him well. We didn't even use him right.
But the thing for me is, right, like, listen, at the end of the day, it's one basketball. You still talking about 4 dudes that are going to shoot the ball before Reggie. The point guard is the odd man out on this team no matter what.
Did you go back and look at that Milwaukee series?
Versus
the person who said, you know what, I am not going home, was Vucevic jacking that bad boy up. I was like, dog, Vucevic was taking some shots. I like some shots. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, listen, you know who gonna take some shots? You know who got a good percentage of hitting them joints? Reggie freaking Jackson. I don't care about nobody else. Reggie seemed to turn up when the heat is on. Reggie turned up.
It'll be interesting to see.
This is satire. I'm just joking at this point.
It would be. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not.
All jokes have some truth. I take Reggie Jackson.
All good jokes contain truth. Go with the bars. I wouldn't be mad at Reggie. I feel like I would feel like, oh, that was an even trade for both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, like, we fleeced them for Reggie Jackson. I'd be like, oh yeah, they got Reggie, they got Lonzo, we got Reggie. But that'd be interesting. But that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm going to be honest with you. I have more faith that if they're healthy, that they actually going to be on the court. Or even if they're not healthy, that they actually going to be on the court. I've seen Paul George play through some injury. Kawhi, they shut him down.
My favorite. Paul George was one of my favorite players, and still is one of my favorite players. To me, Paul George is going to have one of those careers that get looked over because, unfortunately, the injury and stuff like that. But if you go back and look at young PG was like the mix between the up-and-coming Kobe and T-Mac. And that's what he was touted as. You didn't really know.
You know why
he's taller than Kobe, but he was T-Mac size. And I mean, hey, he was on his way. That injury set him back something else. And for him to come back and almost play MVP level after snapping his leg in half, legitimately.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you got to give that man his flowers. I'm sorry.
You know why he gets looked over, though? It's sad to say, but it's because he was in Indiana. Like, you kind of forgot he was in the NBA until he came and played you, and you were like, oh, snap, PG coming to town. And then he went to OKC. 2 very forgettable places.
Yep.
The most we've really paid attention to PG. Like, you talked about PG as a dude that was like, man, he nice. If they ever put a team around him that's worth it, he can win a championship. But you never really looked like nobody was tuning into Pacers games on a Friday night on ESPN. Like, you was like, hey, they playing the Pacers tonight.
Hey. If Paul George was playing, I was watching it because to me, young Paul George was better than Jason Tatum now.
I'd agree with that. That's not surprising to say.
Young Paul George was cooking.
Raging might lose his mind, but I'd agree with that. Raging, if you're in the chat, shout out to you. You know, that's his guy. Hey, Raging was going through it during the finals, bro. All series, he's like, he's a superstar. You're kidding me. You gotta be joking. You're an idiot. How can you say he's not a superstar? Then the finals, I was like, hey, Raging, where your boy at, man? Hey, man, what I'm gonna say?
He's definitely a superstar. Regular season and first series, because if you look at his playoff stats, it dropped every round of the playoffs. Now, you can sit there and say he had an injury and this, that, and the other, but his stats dropped tremendously every round of the playoffs.
I don't know about that one, bro. You might want to look at his stats.
No. I looked this up. I did my research on it. His average dropped every round.
Let me see this here. Hold on. Now, average I don't know about, but I know he was still putting up big numbers
every round. And Jaylen Brown absolutely looked like the person who's going to get them over the hump.
He did, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. And it felt weird. And here's the weird thing, right? I kind of respect Tatum for also realizing it. Because Tatum, by the end of that finals, definitely was deferring.
Oh, yeah.
But it was weird. Like, it was like, wait, is Jaylen Brown better than Jason Tatum?
I've been saying that for the last 2 seasons. I would build around Jaylen Brown.
But see, here's the thing to me, right? Like, for me, I'm looking at it as not that I wouldn't build around Jaylen Brown, but are you making Jaylen Brown better by getting rid of Jason Tatum? Right? Like if Jaylen Brown proves to be the number one, Jaylen Brown's just the number one. I would rather have Jason Tatum as the number two than whatever dude you gonna bring in, some young dude. Or, you said what?
You can't go back now. That's the one thing about young egos and stuff like that. And here's another thing. You say you must be a Kyrie Irving fan. Jason Tatum himself says, "Hey, yeah, we had made it to the finals and we was feeling ourselves and we didn't handle it right." He says it himself blatantly.
No, yeah, he said it on the podcast. He said our ego came into play.
And everybody was like, Kyrie demolished that. It was like, no, like the players literally just said that they did it wrong.
Hey, yeah, bro. Yeah, no, that was a tough statement you said right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is Jason Tatum game by games. 31-19, 39-29. That's Brooklyn. 21-20. Like, I guess, yeah, it's probably going to go down because he had 31 and 39.
So Brooklyn, he cooked. That's round one.
Yeah, round two. 21, 29, 10, 30, 34, 46, 23, 23.
What's his average?
I don't know. I ain't that good at math. I'm just giving you the game by games.
You could do. His average went down. He started off hot and his average went down each round. The only problem is they went to so many game sevens. What was it? 3?
They went to 3 game sevens. I don't know, bro. I'm gonna have to look at the averages.
They didn't go 7 against Warriors. They went 6.
6. Two game sevens and a game 6. I'm gonna have to Miami. He went 29, 27, 10, 31, 22, 30, 26. He shot 75% in one game.
Hey, it looks good when you just read it line by line, but the averages go down. And then when you watch some of the games, it don't look good.
Well, that I agree with. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown never looked good on the court at the same time. I'm going to be real with you. They didn't even put them on here, and I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not tripping.
They didn't even put them on the list, and I'm kind of okay with that because, like, right, as a tandem, like, I will say this, right? As a tandem, Joel Embiid and James Harden at points looked good. Not great. They looked good. Jokic and Murray, to me, being on this list is crazy. Well, I guess not, because Kawhi and... No, Jokic and Murray is kind of crazy. We've really not seen them play together.
Yeah, I don't know who... I think they were just trying to show him some love. But nah, I wouldn't.
I think you can't. You just can't leave the MVP off this list. For me, they're the last one. Jokic and Murray are the last one. I would probably put. Where are you putting DeMar and Zach on this list? DeMar and Zach.
I'm putting them over Jokic and Murray.
They over Jokic and Murray for me. They're over Embiid and Harden for me.
Heck no.
Listen,
Embiid averaged 30 points a game. And James Harden averaged 23, 11, and like 9.
If we going, I mean, listen, we going off of averages because that shooting percentage is god awful.
Oh, the shooting percentage was awful.
That's what I care about. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, if you put up 30 shots and you make 15 or you make 10 of them, yeah, I mean, like, hey, shout out to you.
But he wasn't being as aggressive. He wasn't taking 30 shots.
Hey.
That's the problem.
That's even worse, brother. I mean, you taking 16 and you hitting 3.
No. So here's the thing. This is what people don't understand. James Harden is a volume shooter. So he came in at like 40, 41%, right? But go back and look at Houston James Harden. James Harden would start a game and he'll be like 3 of 9. That's practically 30%. You know, this is practically
33.
30%. Here in the game, like 8 of 17. And you're like, if you do the math, that's closer to 50%. And so you're like, oh, he had a good game. But he would have stretches where it was like, it wasn't all that great. And he gets to the line a lot. 2 things happened. He's not taking as many shots in Philly as he did in Houston. and he's not getting to the line as much.
But the thing is, right?
As many shots and not to get to the line as much, but still give me 23, 11, and whatever the stat was.
But the thing for me is that
I just don't like James Harden. But I'm not going to be a hater.
The thing for me is that, right? Like, here's the thing: one, Embiid's holding up the entire one half of that bargain. Embiid's holding up his half. James Harden ain't holding up his half. James Harden is going into a lot of these games and he's struggling to. Yeah, I mean, he's still passing the ball well. He's still moving the ball around well. I guess those things are good if you've built a team around James Harden. You know where James Harden would have been the most useful last year? If he had been on the team that they traded him for. You know what I'm saying? James Harden with Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. And yeah, sign me up for that, James. But the problem is you got James Harden with a Tobias Harris that you told go stand over in the corner. Don't do nothing. Just stand there and shoot. And when you get the ball, shoot. And if you don't shoot, you're not going to get the ball again. And then you had him also next to a Tyrese Maxey. That's what we doing? Like the dude that was supposed to be 3 and D, but he's no 3, all D. Ooh, that's a pause. Ooh, that's a pause.
That's a hard one.
That's tough. That's tough.
Another bad
that's tough.
Words too.
That's on me.
Oh God.
That was another moment. It's gonna get clipped for sure. Send that to the HR team.
By the way, I just want to piggyback off of this one because you was like, it's a hard statement. Jason Tatum averaged 31, 5, and 5 against the Nets. That may be a little off. Let me hold on. I want to make sure I got clean data.
Are you actually doing the math on it?
StatMuse doesn't know. I just got to put in the right word.
It
was a StatMuse thing when I saw it.
Hey, StatMuse is lit. I ain't gonna lie to you. StatMuse is like the greatest app ever created because, hey, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd be pissed when they ain't got a stat. I'd be asking StatMuse hard questions like it's ESPN. Hey, how many?
So Tatum averaged 29.5.
Yeah,
7 and 4.
Yeah,
in versus the Nets. Let's go Miami. So that's 20. Let's just say 30. He just averaged 30.
So it dropped 1 point, and his assist went up.
It dropped 5 points because he goes to play Miami. It's 25, 8 and 5.
In Miami, they didn't look good. I give you that. In Miami, they didn't look good.
Miami, they didn't look good at all.
They looked good one on the other.
Who they play after that? The Bucks, right?
No, they went to the finals after Miami.
So he played. Oh no! So they played. They played
Brooklyn, then Milwaukee, then Miami, then Golden State.
Then it dropped everything. He averaged 30 against the Nets, 27 against the Bucks, 25 against the Heat, and 22 against the Warriors.
I mean, I get you. But if I got a dude that averaged 30, 25, and 27, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, in round one. If you go from 30 in round one to nearly 20 in round and to close it off.
No, the finals is bad. Finals.
Where did my 10 points go?
The finals is bad. I give you that. But I'm not mad at see, it's also because I remember the Miami series. He did not look good in the Miami series. He looked great in like games, specific games, but like him and Tatum is, I think, if anything, right, and it's weird to say, Kyrie's not the right point for that team. They need a real point. They need a legitimate point that's going to set them up and tell them where to be. And the first option on that team, and I think that's the reason why they probably not on the list that was put out by Bleacher Report, right? Like, because your option in the fourth quarter was Jaylen Brown, go. It wasn't even Jason Tatum, go.
Hey, Jaylen Brown's stats did the opposite. He went from 18 to 24.
He ain't had no choice.
Yeah. Well, I would say this. That's probably why you can make an argument. That's why you don't get rid of him, because when Jason Tatum is struggling, Jaylen Brown picks up the slack, and that's what you should want on the team.
You got to figure out how to get them working at the same time. I think that's just a point guard. They need a legit, like,
and they didn't get a point guard.
They didn't. Well, yeah, they did.
Brogdon is not a point guard.
You don't think so?
No. Brogdon is another Marcus Smart.
No, Brogdon out here averaging like 8 assists a game, ain't he?
Okay. I believe Marcus Smart averaged close to that at one point in the season.
My biggest problem with Brogdon is that Brogdon is might not be healthy, but I don't think you gave up nothing major for him either. You gave up Daniel Tice and some picks that are going to be low. Yeah, I mean, so I'm not tripping on it, but that's a
They didn't make it looks good.
No, I don't start Brogdon because of the health issues.
He ain't never averaged close to that.
Close to what?
He averaged 19 and 6 last season, which I will say this from a scoring perspective, maybe he's a better scorer than Marcus Smart. I don't pay attention to him that much, so I really wouldn't know. But as far as assists go, yeah, him and Marcus Smart are neck and neck.
6, 7.
You didn't get better. You got more scoring, but you didn't get a floor general. You got another.
Yeah, they need a floor general.
You need. Hey, listen.
They need a floor general.
In a Bucks. I mean,
you know what? You know what's weird to say? Like, I feel like they actually keep getting this style of guard. Like, this is not the same. Well, kind of. This is Kemba. This is Kemba. This is Kyrie. This is not so much Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's more on the defensive end. But this is like, you need somebody that's going to be like, hey, I'm going to make this thing hum. Y'all are both great players. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both amazing players. I'm going to make this thing hum. Y'all just be ready for the ball to get to you. You almost need it's tough to say. You need a Chris Paul type player or a Lonzo Ball, which they mad they missed out on. But going out and getting Gallinari wasn't a move. That's a nice shooter.
I don't think they got better by any stretch of the imagination.
I think they got better. I think they got better. Brogdon makes them better. If Brogdon is your bench point guard, you got better.
Okay. I mean, like, okay.
I mean, your bench point guard last year was Pritchard. So you got a guy that could put up 19 points off of the bench. Their bench scoring disappeared last season, so they got better to me. We've been all around on this. We ain't actually completed the doggone topic, but we also are breaking down the players as it go. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, listen, because I do want to get into some other stuff around the league as well. What would you say, just looking at the list, right? I would go Giannis. I would go Kawhi, PG, KD, Kyrie, DeMar and Zach, Joel Embiid and Harden, and Jokic and Murray are last because I can't think of one Jokic to Murray play or Murray to Jokic play outside of the bubble. I literally can't think of one.
I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna switch KD and Kyrie for Paul George and Kawhi, just because I still don't think they look good together on the floor for me to be talking about them in tandem.
True. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to Rock'ems, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We got some other stuff we want to get into as well, because the NBA, KD and Kyrie is a good topic to bring up here because the league is talking about looking for remedies. Adam Silver talked about looking for remedies in regards to players requesting trades early into contracts. How do we feel, first and foremost, about the NBA and player contract situations? Because I saw Richard Jefferson tweet something out today, and for some reason, right, like, I guess it makes perfect sense, but I just never thought about it. And he said, is a contract only, basically he broke down, is a contract only binding one way? Because while Donovan Mitchell is signing his contract for the Utah Jazz, if Donovan Mitchell had asked for a trade, everybody would have been like, oh, Donovan Mitchell's asking to get out of there. They already got rid of Rudy Gobert. They'd have been on his heels. But the Utah Jazz come out and are like, anybody want this dude? And nobody faults the Utah Jazz for that. Do we feel like there needs to be a look into remedies for guys leaving contracts early, which I've said that I thought that it's poor judgment, but I never thought of it on the side of if a guy wants to stay there and you still move him just to rebuild, that's kind of the same thing.
This is going to sound like I'm so pro owner, but at a certain point, we have to be really honest with ourselves. The business of basketball is exactly that, a business. And most of us that work 9 to 5 or in the grind of that nature, if you work in an at-will state, you don't control exactly what that organization does. At some point, for no reason at all, that employer could actually fire you. It's a at-will. If you're at-will, like Illinois is an at-will state. And so if they decide to make some moves, make some layoffs, stuff like that, it just is what it is. NBA players aren't special because they're NBA players. At the end of the day, they're still employees. Now, that's a hard statement to make.
Yeah.
But it's true.
It's not you're not wrong, and I think that's the hard part about it, right? You're not wrong. But I feel like it's a different, like, everyone clearly is killing KD and Kyrie for wanting out of Brooklyn.
Kyrie opted in.
Kyrie opted in after he said he wanted out. Kyrie opted in after he was like, hey, give me this money or trade me. Here's my list of teams if you want to trade me. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he opted in. But he's been getting killed as well as KD on, wanting out at one point and then opting in.
KD wanting out is totally different to me because KD's 34. He's already sustained a very, serious injury that used to be career ending for some. People don't remember, like the same injury he had now, Kobe didn't come back from.
Yeah, so he ruptured his Achilles. No, KD or Kobe ruptured his, right? KD's was a clean tear.
I think they both were teared.
Were they? Okay. I thought
either way it was an Achilles.
Oh no, it was because Kobe was at the line. He was like, please tell me you kicked me. Yeah, I remember that.
So, I mean, for him to want out because he thinks that the Nets are trying to rebuild and he doesn't want to spend his twilight years there, that to me makes sense. And so you have to put context matters.
Yeah, but the tough part is, right, if he had said I want out before Kyrie opts in, then I would agree with that. But he said I want out after Kyrie opts in to his deal.
Kyrie opting in was just a ploy for them to trade him. And it actually makes the money work more. Like Kyrie's $36 million is an easier contract to trade than to sign him to a max contract and try to trade him.
Well, it gives you room to get more back for Kyrie. It's a easier trade for the Nets. It's not
Kyrie's situation. It works because you're like, hey, I get him for one season. If it don't work out, hey, I just paid him for one season. Kyrie could go out, do whatever he wants to do. In his situation, just because of the instability, that works for organization.
Yeah.
And so, normally you don't trade for a player that's a rental at $36 million for one season. Normally you don't do that. Everyone's not going to take the same.
Well, if you know you want to be there, and it's on a stipulation of a sign and trade, and then you immediately do a contract extension. Yeah, so if he had got traded to the Lakers, you would have immediately saw like a 1-and-1 deal so that him and Bron both end up leaving the Lakers at the same time, basically.
Same time. So, like, Kyrie's situation is different. I don't like grouping them together because ultimately, I do feel like Sean Marks plays a lot in that. Tasai plays a lot in that.
Yeah.
There's a lot not being said on the ownership. But just from the overarching thing, we've done two things. We left an era where it was so heavily favored for the owners that the players weren't making any money.
Yeah.
Now players are making way more money. I mean, they're making generational dollars.
Yeah.
$251 million. That's $250 million. Let's be real. If you could make $250 million in 5 years, you'd sign right away. I don't care where you're going. Right?
Here's the crazy part about this, right? What do you think Carmelo Anthony's career earnings are? NBA, just basketball money, just contracts.
$250 million, like 300.
284. His whole career, Carmelo's one of the best players to ever touch a basketball. And his whole career is 284. Zach LaVine just got 215 for 5 years.
The money went up.
That's where the league is at right now, y'all.
So because of that, though, hey, the money's gone up. They're talking about shortening the season. Like Adam Silver is very pro player. He's very pro player. So for him to actually get involved and start speaking up,
depends.
It's like, hey, he is.
It depends, right?
Like the change in the game.
Adam Silver is very pro player to the point until the business of basketball comes into play, right? Where there's those moments where it's like the bubble. The bubble, there were a ton of players that were like, this is crazy. We shouldn't do this. And Adam Silver was like, we not missing this money.
Well, I mean, it's no different than I think he did it better than the NFL did it. When the NFL started to kick off,
the NFL was wild. They was like, y'all got COVID.
Like, go.
You playing on Tuesday. Tuesday. Tuesday.
Everyone trashes the bubble, but no one talks about how the NFL was like, yeah, just play. You know, like,
bro, the NFL said if he dies, bro, the NFL was wild, bro. Like legit. I remember being at work on lunch watching the Steelers play the Browns on like a Wednesday afternoon at 1:30.
Guess what? The NFL wasn't gonna miss that money, so I don't blame Adam Silver.
They didn't miss a game. They did not miss one game of the season. Now, also, right, like the difference there is, right, like Rudy Gobert shut the league down. The NFL hadn't started yet, so they had the time to kind of be like, okay, let's figure out what we're gonna do. Versus the NBA that was like, we getting this money back or we finna take this L?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm very big on Adam. I think
I like Adam. I like the rules. I like the things he's bringing.
Yeah, he's handled a lot of tough situations well. I think as someone said, I don't know who mentioned today, I think he is the gold standard. I think Shannon said it. He's the gold standard of what you want a commissioner to be for sports.
Yes.
You know, you may not like every decision, but that's the crown he wears. Like that's the weight and responsibility of what he has to do. Not everybody's going to, respect his decision, but they are fair. He comes in with a very fair perspective, but once the decision is made.
Wasn't his first? Am I mistaken? But wasn't his literally like first, maybe 2 months on the job, the Clippers situation?
I don't want to misspeak.
I feel like that was like literally Adam Silver 2 months into having the job. And what was Buddy? I don't even remember Buddy name. Donald Sterling.
Yeah.
It was, I think that was 2 months into Adam Silver handling the job. And Adam was like, sell the team. It's like, bro, you've been there 2 months, bro. Like,
and by contrast, that could have happened in the NFL, and that person
that might be happening right now in the NFL.
It is happening right now.
We'll see. I don't know if they've made a final decision on Washington yet.
Well, here's the thing. You see how quick Donald Sterling's situation got handled.
Yeah,
pretty quick.
Yeah, but let's be real, right?
Relatively speaking.
Hey, listen, let's be real. Like, John Gruden's definitely got a case on like why he was sending them reckless emails to Roger Goodell, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised if we hear like John Gruden has moved to another country. What happened to John? Well, there was a lawsuit that was going to be in place, but he got a letter in the mail and he's moved.
John pulled no punches. So, but with all that being said, just getting back to the initial topic, I mean, there is a certain point where we can't just look at KD's situation. You got to look at the situation that happened in Philly with Ben Simmons and how that worked out.
Yep.
You have to look at what's another situation right before Ben?
John Collins.
there's multiple occasions where players were threatened to sit out, this, that, and the other. It was too much power.
James Harden.
Right? Twice. At this point, it's just too much power. Twice. It's too much power.
Yeah.
And you have to at a certain point realize, just like in the NFL, it's a privilege to play in the NBA. It's a privilege.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Yeah, when you're on the floor, you're the best of the best, this, that, and the other. But let's not make it seem as if the world ends if you don't touch this floor. You are still an employee. You are a very high paid employee.
And high value.
Employee.
And high value. It's not like, right, like KD not playing on the Nets makes them a play-in team, maybe. Right? Well, they were playing team anyway. But
that's no different than any high-value employee leaving an organization. Yeah, that organization is going to go through the flux for the next couple of months or a year if a high-ranking or a very important employee leaves that organization. However, the organization itself still has to go on.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to have to be on that platform and to be able to do the things that they do. It really is.
No, agree.
Look at all the stuff that those players get to do because they play in the NBA and because they're good at playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like they a lot of them set up generational wealth and money making opportunities just solely off of that. Like it really is. And so I think we've gotten away from that in some instances where players think that they are on par with ownership. You're not on par with ownership. You're not. Everyone's not LeBron James. LeBron James is an anomaly, and he's played out every contract he's had. He's played out every contract. That's the one thing I respect about it. He's played out every contract. So, like, let's be real. And he's delivered more than anyone else as far as, people moving. He's won a championship in every city he's won. He's won to. How do you hate on that? Not everybody's that player. That's a generational player.
I think
he may be 4 of 10 and all that stuff. He may have shipped out half. He's traded 72 people, whatever. All that's true. All that's very true. But what was the goal? To win a championship. Did he give him a championship? Yes, he did. I think you don't have many LeBron James in history, let alone now.
And I think that's the biggest issue I have with it, right? Like, say, like, LeBron James not coming back in Cleveland, to me, was the biggest beef I have with LeBron James not coming back in Cleveland is the fact that LeBron left Kyrie in limbo for so long. And now y'all want to get back together. Y'all could have been winning rings, but that's a whole different situation. But the biggest issue I have with, or the only thing that, to me, about KD and Kyrie's situation and them wanting out, and even how Kyrie wanted to leave Boston and then he ends up going to Brooklyn and he signs in Brooklyn and then signs the extension and now he wants out of Brooklyn. The only issue that I have is, right, you're making, like, even if LeBron James demanded out, LeBron James won a championship and proved that he was the best player in the NBA on that team consistently. You're KD and Kyrie and a lot of these guys, John Collins, Ben Simmons, you're making NBA Finals demands, you ain't been out the second round.
You can't do that.
You're making NBA Finals demands and you ain't been out the second round. That's my only problem with the names that do it, right? Like, if Bradley Beal at this point, right, were to say, I want out of here, I'd have a problem with it because you ain't been in the playoffs by yourself. And you shouldn't have signed that deal if you want out all of a sudden. Like, I get it's $254 and I'd be a fool to not turn down that money. Yeah, you would. But also, if you was concerned about winning, which 2 years into a contract you can't be in, I'm not saying Bradley Beal's going to do this at all. I think Bradley Beal actually might be one of the few players that sticks around there and be like, well, I didn't get a ring, but I got $254 million in the bank. But like, when we see players do that aren't up here players, it irks my soul. James Harden doing that, I almost could live with it. How he went about it, I very much disagree. But James Harden got the Houston Rockets to the Western Conference Finals, right?
Yeah.
You making Western Conference Finals demands. Hey, guess what? I've done everything I can here. You guys are talking about going towards a rebuild. You've shipped everybody out of here. I get why y'all doing it. I don't want to be here. I don't agree with how James Harden went about it. The whole I'm finna get fat and I don't know if it was a fat suit or not, but he was looking bigger than he was. But
He's way bigger than he was.
He was like a way big. He was like a Zion Williamson big out here. Like, but I can almost if he had went about it right, like, hey, I want y'all to trade me. I don't want to be here no more. If I play out this season, I play out this season, but like I'm not going to be a part of Houston's future anymore. I could have lived with that because James Harden got you to a Western Conference Finals that you ain't been in since what? Hakeem? Is that how far back? Houston ain't been T-Mac and them never won. Hakeem. Gotta be Hakeem. I can't think of another team that made it that far.
Yeah.
Yao and them never made it that far. So like you making demands for your pay grade and for your production. KD and Kyrie, listen, y'all making demands and you ain't been out the second round. Kyrie, listen, brother, I loved you in Boston, but you didn't play. Listen, here's my thing. If you're going to make these demands, you have to at least have gotten us to that point. If you're going to be that level of player, right? Because now you're talking about the remedies coming in. Now you're talking about them all of a sudden. Now we got to regulate how the players are making their decisions and stuff like that. I'm sorry, bro. That's whack. If you are a player that feels like you gave everything you could to that team, and that team, like how Kyrie goes at Cleveland fans, I have no problem with it. When Kyrie was cussing Buddy out, he was like, I got you, mom. There's a championship, and y'all, this how y'all treat me, y'all whack. No problem with it. You know why? Them championship demands. You can't say nothing.
Kyrie is a championship caliber player. He is a game changer if he plays. Even what on his average is about 57 games a season. He changes an organization. He's also has one of the best finals performances of all time. Keyword finals.
So do KD.
Was he with LeBron? Yes, but he has to perform and set and have a near legendary performance, just like LeBron does for that 3-1 to happen. Kyrie making those demands, I get.
But I got no beef with Kyrie making them demands in Cleveland.
KD making those demands, I get. The demands, the thing I don't like, and this is where the Nets set themselves up, is they introduced this as a partnership to KD and Kyrie. And then you get offended when Kyrie says, hey, let's make this something that we build, together and stuff like that. Nah, you did that. You created that monster. You agreed to those particular terms because trust me, that had to be the understanding he had to even publicize something like that. And I'm pretty sure you gave the same carte blanche to KD. It's Kevin Durant.
But you know what? Here's the thing, right? As much as I'm willing to kill the Nets organization, how they handle Kyrie's situation, I think they don't get enough blame for it. Do we think that all of a sudden Kevin Durant and Kyrie didn't go to the organization and say, James ain't working here? Yeah, I mean, like those are the things, right?
Kyrie wanted James Harden there.
I don't think they did either, right? And guess what? The organization was like, all right, well, you two are franchise pieces. We're gonna move them. We're gonna try and put a team around you. They put a team around him.
No, I mean, I don't think he wanted James Harden there for the trade. Look at what they gave away, and look at what all those players did.
But you as much as Kyrie talked about wanting to be the number one and be the Batman on the team, you ain't Batman on that team. KD is. You Robin. You get to play Robin's role. You can be Nightwing if it makes you feel better, but you're still Robin. You're still not Batman. Yeah, I mean, like Nightwing could fight a little bit better than Robin could. Yeah, I mean, you're a little higher, but you still not Batman. So like, you don't get to make the big decision if KD say, hey, I want James Harden on the team. They're going to get James Harden on the team. And I think that's a bed that KD made. Because when James said he wanted out and they got on the phone and said, let's do this, KD was like, let's do this. James Harden's not in Brooklyn if KD don't want him there. I think Brooklyn, as much as we can kill Brooklyn on certain things, they've acquiesced to the superstars' will. They've put the three together that they wanted. And While we can say they were old dudes that came in, I don't need great players. LeBron showed me that. LeBron won with old dudes in Miami. Yeah. When I got 3 of the best players in the world on my team, or 2, now injuries kind of broke that up, and then all of a sudden they couldn't gel together. Okay, it's not gelling together. Now we got to get rid of James Harden. Okay, I brought you back Andre Drummond, a historic level rebounder. I brought you back Seth Curry. I brought you back. They got one more player. I brought you back Ben Simmons, which that's a whole thing. I don't know about that one there. But I brought you back Ben Simmons.
They got a squad if they stay packed.
Like, but that's my problem with it, right? Like all of a sudden we brought you this squad. Let's figure out how to make this work. I got to get out of here. You ain't got the you got the NBA level cachet for that, but on the Brooklyn Nets squad, y'all ain't did nothing.
I will say this. You ain't seen Ben Simmons hoop in 2-3 years. Seth wasn't healthy. It was just what's a watered down version of who he's accustomed playing with in Steph. They didn't seem like they look like they're gonna move Kyrie, which, let's be honest, as much as we can hate on the world hates on Kyrie, LeBron James is vying for him apparently, and apparently he was a major part of KD sticking around. So, there's something there.
KD, listen, Kyrie's an amazing basketball player. I don't take that away, but you also got to look at it and say, like, Kyrie first said, "Get me out of here," and then was like, "It's better if I opt in." Then opted in. Once you opt in, right? It's like, okay, he's opted in. Let's make this work with this team. Now KD's like, I want out of here.
Oh, no, I'll tell you this, and I said this in the chat, in the Discord. Y'all join that. If I'm Sean, if I'm Joe, you're going to give me a year. I'm not trading you nowhere. I'm not getting what I want back.
Look, that seemed like that's what it's going to be. His biggest mistake is keeping Steve Nash.
I'm not getting back what I want. The benchmark was set high from Rudy Gobert going to Minnesota. So if that's your benchmark for that level of play, KD's worth that.
Utah really screwed it up.
Oh yeah,
Utah really screwed it up. Like you got to think about it, right? Like the trade value for KD was probably what it was when Rudy Gobert got traded, and then Rudy Gobert got traded, and you sent back 6 first-round picks. Technically 7. No, 6, because 5 picks and the dude they just drafted in the first round. They sent Walker Kessler over there.
It's 9 pieces altogether. 5 players, 4 picks.
Right. No, 5 players. I thought it was 5 and 5.
5 and 4.
5 and 4. Either way, right? You sent a lot, right? And now the Nets are looking at it like Richard Jefferson said it's so slick, but it was the perfect explanation of it. They said Malik Andrews was like, if that's what Rudy Gobert is going for, what are we trading KD for? And he said, France. Hey, listen, that's what it's gonna take. KD, like Rudy Gobert is and I think Rudy Gobert to me is crazy because I think I'm the only one that thinks this. Rudy Gobert to me has way more value than Donovan Mitchell does. Like,
yeah,
it blows my mind when people talk about it. I'm like, you talking about the dude that got a bunch of defensive player of the years hanging on his mantle? Like, I get we in an offensive world, but you can put Rudy Gobert on a team with 4 bad defenders and it's still a top 10 defense. That's impressive. But bro, they had nobody on that team as good at defense. Mike Conley's old, so that's why he ain't good at it no more. Donovan Mitchell, Joe wasn't Joe Harris. What's the white dude?
Ingles.
Joe Ingles, and fill in your own name here.
Pick a name.
Pick a name.
It was somebody who shouldn't have been there in the conversation. Like, that's all it was.
So, like to me, right? Like, I think he has more value. But like when you look at that deal, there's no team in the NBA that has enough value for Kevin Durant. There's no team in the NBA. You literally can't give more picks.
The Warriors.
Yeah, but I mean, are you going to What are you sending back? Right, you sending Wiggins, you sending Poole, you sending picks, you sending.
I'm sending you Wiggins. I'm sending you Poole. I may send you Kuminga, and I'm sending you 3 picks.
Here's the thing that I would ask with that though, right?
And you don't gut the team doing it.
No, you don't. You still got a lot of pieces there. But here's the thing that I would ask with that. Why wouldn't you keep the assets that just won you a finals and run it back and see if you can get to another finals? Because I think that team is still good enough. If Wiggins and Poole get better, you're talking about a whole nother team with still generational players that can get you to a finals again. And I still got all my picks, and I'm still well under the salary cap. Well, I don't know how far they are under the salary cap, and I'm still in a good situation on the cap.
Money. That's they would actually say. So here's the part that no one really. The Warriors are so far over the cap. The Warriors' payroll is $500 million or close to it when you do the projected contracts and stuff like that. They ain't got the money, and so at this point, Wiggins is going to come back up again. You got to pay him. You've already paid Steph. You've already paid Clay. You paid Draymond. You got to pay Poole. You got to pay Poole. Poole's going to be looking for $100 million.
He got it already, didn't he?
I don't know how it worked out, but these players are coming up, and you're going to have to pay them at some point while still trying to maintain. You already got $200 million there, $100-something million there, $80-something million there. You already have it there.
Let's see.
You may have to relinquish some of these people just so that you can pay them, because the luxury tax that they're in, I think their luxury tax bill is like $170 million.
Hey, listen,
they're in it.
When you winning,
so they may need to move players, not because they don't want them, because of the financial reasons, and that's something to consider. So if I could bring KD back, and save some money, somebody did the math. They said they actually saved nearly $50 million by getting KD back for that trade. It's wild.
So they are $34 million into the luxury tax. Their estimated luxury tax bill is $141 million. Now, I'm not going to act like I'm a capologist and I understand how all that works. I'll bring Hayes on the show one day to break it down because he's good at it.
Now, I think they can defer that, but that's still going to eat up a lot of future.
Oh, you're going to be trash eventually. You got with a team like that, you're going to be trash eventually.
You have to. So guess what? If I'm Golden State, I'm going to have a hard conversation. Hey, Wiggs, Poole, listen, it ain't that I don't love you. It ain't that we don't want to run it back. But from a financial standpoint, we can't keep it together long.
How long you got to keep it together is the question, though. That's the real thing, right? How long does Clay have left? How long does Steph have left? Now Clay might be able to go a little bit further because of having the time off and now finally being able to get back right. He's probably the most rested on the team. Draymond looked good in game 5 and 6. Well, he looked like Dre. Like he looked like the dude that's doing everything that he needed to do. But Draymond
I'm glad you're bringing him up.
Bad.
Because I'm going to use him as the reason for this trade. Draymond Green gave one of the most honest and vulnerable responses to something on JJ Redick's podcast. And he was, and I felt like it wasn't him being fake about it. He was being real. Teams figured them out. I think you are now back in that same situation. The Warriors winning this finals wasn't supposed to happen. No one had them winning straight out as constructed, except for you. You did call it. I got to give you that. You did call it. I didn't have them winning straight out. It's not that I didn't want them to go far. I was just thinking, hey, if you're banking on Clay being Clay, you're banking on Poole making a leap. I don't see that happening, and it didn't happen. Clay wasn't really Clay, but
Poole made a leap. But yeah,
Wiggins stepped up. Poole wasn't really all that great, but he was impactful at key moments to keep momentum going. It just happened at the right time, and Steph played phenomenal throughout the entire playoffs. This is his best playoff run by far, in my opinion. He absolutely took a leap as to I can carry a team.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Oh yeah, dog. Hey, I was like, are y'all seeing this right now? Now, I'm not going to go as far as Buddy that says Steph is the second greatest player of all time. You jumping a lot of names.
Second most exciting, but I wouldn't say greatest.
I can't even say second most exciting. If we going on a list of exciting, Magic got to be top 5. Jordan, of course. I'm throwing Kobe on there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm throwing Bron on there for this reason, and it's gonna get us into our. Hey, it's gonna get us into our final topic. Anybody that ever talks trash about Bron, there's a 2 to 3 minute clip of him defensively dominating that person.
Yep. I have a different appreciation for LeBron, and I really started when, I have to say it, when Kobe started to really say that, yeah, he'll probably be better than me. Kobe has an interview that says that he'll probably be better than me at the end of the day, and he wanted that. He encouraged it.
Now, Bron was still in Cleveland at that point. Kobe's also got a couple of interviews trashing Bron for out here running from the grind.
He does. And I still have Kobe as a better basketball player, but I'll never put him as over LeBron as the athlete, because LeBron, the athlete, probably the best athlete I've ever seen play outside of Giannis.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. I didn't mean to sidetrack us on that, but I thought that was hilarious because of the whole Ray Allen thing. And somebody was like, is this the Ray Allen you talking about?
Yeah. But hold on. Let me finish this.
Go ahead. Finish it.
I don't think the Warriors can run it back the way they did this year. I think they're going to need someone to come help carry them at moments where, all right, we're focusing on Steph. We need a bucket. We need a guaranteed bucket. We need this 3. I don't think it's Clay anymore. It's going to be like KD is going to come in and fill the same gap that he filled for them in 2017, 2018 when they won those chips, because the Clippers, when healthy, the Warriors are not beating the Clippers. If both teams are healthy, the Warriors are not beating the Clippers. You put KD on the Warriors are beating the Clippers. I would love to see, and from a basketball fan's perspective, I would love to see Kawhi and KD go at it with Paul George, John Wall, stuff. That is marquee TV right there. That right there will be probably, and I'm overhyping it at this point, but if they come out shooting and firing, probably one of the best playoff series we've ever seen.
I think the tough part about it is, right, like my biggest question was always, didn't KD leave to go prove that he could win it without him? If you left to go prove that you could win it without him, you left for no reason and you could have kept winning.
So it didn't work out.
It's just, to me, it's just tough, right? Especially for somebody who seems to really care about their legacy. Like, to me, I'm like, I don't know who these people are that say, like, they still may say, like, you going to Golden State was a weak move. I would tend to agree. You went to the team that put you out in the playoffs. But here's my thing with it. You a top 15 player all time, bro. Like,
dog.
You one of the best. You probably the best offensive player I've ever seen in my life. And I live in a city that has Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan wasn't 7 feet tall doing all them same moves. Like, it's crazy.
I think it's crazy for people to say he's weak when
that's a weak move to me.
That team sought him out for one.
It's still a weak move to me.
No. It's no different.
It's a lack of it showed the lack of competition in the NBA at that time.
No, that happened 6 years prior. You want to know why? Dwayne Wade was scoring champ and I think won an MVP 2007. I could be wrong, but in that he
definitely didn't win the MVP 2007 because LeBron did.
Well, LeBron did. He beat out Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was a top 3 MVP candidate. Something of that sort. I think the following year, LeBron, Kobe, and Dwayne Wade had won scoring titles around the same time. Same 3-year span. Those 2 of those players was like, hey, what you got going on over there? And then they got Chris Bosh. I'm sorry. That feels no different than this team saying, hey, yeah, we lost.
I agree with you. He did it because he couldn't be.
They all sat there and had the little fruity drinks and was like, hey, listen.
But this the thing.
This tandem? They did the same crap.
But I also,
And they got
killed
the same
LeBron.
result.
But
They got the same result.
But I also killed LeBron for that, right? Like you put together a super team and it destroyed competition in the NBA, and it did. Competition just got back 2 years ago. It just got back. Teams were competitive. We started the season saying who's in the NBA Finals, LeBron and whoever comes out the West. It wasn't competitive.
Competition in the league because they only won 2 out of 4. The Dallas Mavericks was a better team. Dallas Mavericks that year was a much better team.
Nah, Brian and them should have beat that team. Didn't Dallas go in as a 4th seed?
I don't know what they went in as, but I know that they had better shooters and they had a better round, top to bottom. I think they had a better.
Hey, bro, it ain't
Miami was very top heavy.
Hey, bro, it ain't no way. It ain't no way the Jets should have punked. They always were. For all 4 championships, they was top heavy.
No,
name me the role. Name me the role players that had serious impact on that Miami team.
Ray Allen.
There you go.
Birdman. Udonis Haslem from a defensive perspective.
Shane
Battier, I believe, was on there from a defensive perspective. Mike Miller, lethal shooter. Actually, at the time, top 5 shooter in the league. I think they had Kyle Korver. Did they not?
No,
they didn't have. That was on Cleveland.
He was on Atlanta. You still talking about 5? You talking about 5 dudes in 4 years?
But those 5 dudes were on a team at the same time at one point.
Yeah, but that's still right. I
named you 5 dudes.
No, they wasn't all on the same team.
James,
no, they wasn't all on the same team.
Mike Miller
wasn't on this. Mike Miller was on the team with Birdman. Shane Battier was on the team with Ray Allen, and Ray Allen was only there a year. So like. Even with that, right? Like that team was always top heavy. They still won 2 championships being top heavy. You talking about a team that had
Miller, Jerry Stackhouse, Ilgauskas.
Dang, Jerry Stackhouse was on that team. You looking at? Wait, are you looking at Cleveland?
I'm talking about Miami when they first got together.
No, I know. Jerry Stackhouse was on that team and Eddie House.
Yeah.
That's so weird. It's so weird seeing some names that be on a team and you be like, where was that dude at?
Juwan Howard, James Jones, Mike Miller.
And Juwan Howard was playing the UD role at that point.
So they had Shane Battier, Eddie Curry. They did have Eddie Curry.
They had Eddie Curry?
They had Eddie Curry. I forgot about Eddie.
Hey, Eddie was just getting money, bro. What you doing? Getting money.
All I need. Oh, this is the best roster right here for me. Check me out. Mike Miller, Rashad Lewis, Shane Battier, Udonis Haslem. Did I say Juwan Howard already?
Juwan Howard wasn't playing.
Well, looked like he played this time.
He didn't.
He did. He played a solid 7 games. Hey, you better put some respect on that 7
Juwan Howard was the original UD.
Mike Miller played 59. Mike Miller was a bucket. I don't care what nobody say. So you got Mike Miller. You got Mike Miller, Ray Allen.
Which 59 he played? Was that the back end of the season or the front end of the season?
Man, I don't care what it was.
Because that's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah, I mean, like,
games. Hey, he played Kyrie Irving season. What you talking about?
They won rings being mad top heavy, and one dude bailed them out. By year 3, LeBron had figured it out, and you didn't need year 3. What was that? 2012. Was that 2012 when it was that the 3rd year there? That was the best LeBron I've seen in my life.
That's probably a top 3 player in NBA history right there,
bro.
That season,
the dominance, that's the best LeBron I've ever seen in my life.
I keep telling people, you want to see some good basketball, you go watch LeBron from 2012 to 2013. You go watch D Rose 2010. You go watch Kobe 2006.
You go watch Mike 2000. You go watch Mike. Well, you can watch any of Mike. You go watch AI in 01.
Well, good basketball from a singular player. Let's say. Now LeBron's was actually really good basketball, but all them other names was kind of like, I'm gonna just cook you on the other side because it's the only shot I got at winning this game.
The weakest team in the Western Conference to a playoff spot. Everybody keeps saying we got swept in the first round. Yeah, he was passing to Kwame Brown and Smush Parker.
Hey, bro, that
Kwame Brown just got cooked for a whole year for being a bust.
I ain't gonna lie to you. That Philly team was much less impressive, but still much more. That AI to me, AI getting to the finals and getting one win, I'm like, hey, that's a championship in my book. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know how you beat this team.
We gonna have to have that debate another time because I'll tell you this right now. You lined up AI's team from 01 versus Kobe's team in 06, and I guarantee you be like, yeah, AI had more help. I guarantee you gonna say that.
Dikembe?
Dikembe was still a top 5 defensive player, wasn't he?
I think he still blocked shots. I think he still blocked shots, but I don't think he had that same ability to move no more.
Okay, hold on, wait. Just because you can't move Shaq, don't mean you ain't a defensive player. Top 5 defensive player. Nah. That's a difference. That's a whole different ball game. Man. You can't that man talking about an immovable object with the stick.
I do love how we've been getting these segues in here. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Because Ray Allen, we'll close out on this, man. Because I don't even know how long we've been recording. Me and you just be talking sometimes.
We're going on 2 hours. I got to roll.
Hey, who is Ray Allen's GOAT?
Well, in the video, he said MJ.
But based on the video that he just dropped, Ray Allen came out and he said that if you're not the best in every category, you can't be the GOAT. MJ's got a great case for it, except for the things that he brought up in the video. He said, is LeBron the best free throw shooter, which is MJ still a great free throw shooter? Is LeBron the best ball handler? MJ can handle the ball. I wouldn't say he was the best at it. Like, is LeBron the best 3-point shooter? Now you've lost MJ. Like, so I had to try and figure out who Ray Allen's GOAT was today, but I want to hear who you think Ray Allen's GOAT might be outside of Michael Jordan and LeBron based on the stipulations that he has set in place where you dominate every category.
Luka.
Dang, that's crazy. Nah. Well, if we're going based on today's game, right? It's a lot of dudes you could bring up. But I assumed he was talking about somebody that he played. Well, he played. No, he didn't play. He didn't play with Luka. He was a little too late.
So you talk about from his era, like his prime.
Well, his era goes all the way up until LeBron, Kobe, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you gotta think about it. Like I think people forget. I think people only remember Celtics Ray Allen sometimes. Be like Ray Allen got drafted in like '98.
Yeah, he was a dog. I'm just trying to think of who you would go with, and I know it's gonna be someone no one thinks of. But if I had to choose someone who was a good, now by the way, he didn't say the GOAT at those things. He said, is he a good free throw shooter? Is he a good ball handler?
Well, he was saying, talking specifically about LeBron. But if we throw in those things in there, now you got to talk about a whole different type of player. He was like, he's not the GOAT at those categories. How can he be the GOAT? And I was like, are we really doing free throw percentage, brother? Like,
he's historically bad at free throws.
These last 2 years have been especially bad.
He's Shaq level at one point on free throws. I'm going to either have to say Magic Johnson or T-Mac.
T-Mac's an interesting one. Magic's probably the better. Actually, Magic really didn't shoot through. What did Magic shoot from 3?
I'm going to go T-Mac because T-Mac was a good defender, a good rebounder. When he chose to pass, he's a good passer. He's a good 3-point shooter.
I went John Stockton. That's the only player I can think of. Unless his GOAT is Isaiah Thomas. Old Isaiah Thomas.
I got John over Isaiah.
Well, Isaiah got rings over John.
I got
rings usually play a part in GOAT conversation. At least getting
rings do play a part. Here's the thing. You could be statistically better. However, if you have a lot of empty calories, then it doesn't matter because you could be the best player on a weak team, and that's going to inflate your numbers. I.e., Bradley Beal has been the best player on a weak team for a very long time, so that kind of inflates some numbers there.
That argument don't go and play with John Stockton though. John Stockton was one of the best players on one of the best teams, and the reason his assist numbers are so high is because he had a big country dude dunking on everybody.
Hey, John got some 2020 games out there.
Oh yeah, crazy. But I said it's got to be one of them two, bro. You bringing free throws, ball handling, and 3-point shooting into it. Isaiah Thomas is a good 3-point shooter. He's a great ball handler, and he was he was able to knock down free throws. Like I can't think of nobody. Like you instantly take away just about 97, 98% of the NBA, and you're left with like a handful of point guards. If you're taking all of that into account.
I think he's talking about more of a complete player.
I'm sure he is. I'm really doing this in jest, but it was just funny to hear like what he chose to say why LeBron didn't GOAT.
By the way, I know we're getting out of here. This is the one thing I'm going to say. Derek Carr's a top 10 QB. Okay, what you say?
Dang,
Derek
we
Carr's
didn't get into that.
I know. Listen.
I was cool. No, I was cool with top 10. I was cool with top 10. The blasphemy came is when you said him and Aaron Rodgers would be in the same situation. If him and Aaron Rodgers were in the same situation, he would put up the same numbers.
If he had the same roster that Aaron Rodgers had in the last 2-3 seasons, yeah, Derek Carr would definitely have gone
But the thing is, right, like Aaron Rodgers put up the same numbers with basically Derek Carr's roster.
Now, here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers at one point absolutely carried his team. Nobody there. It was him. Ironically, that was the same year that Derek Carr got drafted. Since Derek Carr has been drafted in the clutch, Derek Carr is the most efficient. He has the most game-winning drives. So at this point, all I'm saying is this. Aaron Rodgers has been in the league a long time. All I'm saying, a long time, but he's been doing this a long time. All right. So Aaron Rodgers, I remember a moment where he was Brett Favre reincarnated. That man had, well, I say like he died. Anyway, Brett Favre with no interceptions. That's who he was. I give it to him. Brett Favre had Aaron Rodgers had a moment. He had 2-3 seasons where he was absolutely unequivocally that dude.
2-3
from an individual perspective.
2-3.
However, Derek Carr has been in the middle of a Donald Sterling type scandal. Had nothing to do with him, by the way.
I was like, wait a minute.
I mean, they've gone through. Derek Carr has had one of the most interesting situations when it comes to organization. And the only thing Aaron Rodgers can really say is that for some odd reason, they chose to draft another QB instead of getting him a receiver. I'm just saying they found every single reason to not get that man some help. I don't know why. But here's the interesting thing about you, Pat. On this very show, you've said, and you've smoked Ringo for this, and you've smoked J Mart for this. Aaron Rodgers has had a top 5 offensive line. He's had
that was this year.
Defense.
Yeah.
He's had and that was a couple seasons ago too.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has benefited a lot.
No, we bring
a lot of help.
No, for sure.
Couple of seasons,
for sure,
and he's done nothing with it.
For sure, 100%.
So here's the thing: you can't use the argument that look at what he did with nobody, but when he gets somebody, he does nothing.
I agree with you. But the reason that argument still holds true is because he did nothing with nobody, still had a crazy regular season, but also his team made the playoffs. With nobody, his team made the playoffs. We can't hold Muggs in the same regard when with nobody in Derek Carr's situation. And granted, he has nobody. Well, now he got somebody, but he's had nobody. But last season, he had some somebodies on that team. He had a 1,000-yard receiver. He had a 1,000-yard tight end. He had a nice running back in Josh Jacobs. He had a nice offensive line. Had a pretty good defense.
Who had a nice offensive line?
Derek Carr.
Last season?
Last season. Well, Raiders was 15 last year, offensive line rate.
And what was Green Bay?
Ooh, gotta be low. Remember we was talking about
Green Bay did not have an offensive line last season? You kidding me, right? I know you joking.
Hold on. I'll pull it up. Hey, this is the thing. I remember I want to say Jordy Nelson. What's that boy name? That's his backup quarterback.
Jordan Love.
Getting murdered.
Okay. Jordan Love got murdered.
Aaron Rodgers can still move. Must be cracking me up. Oh, I'm looking at 2022. Hold on. 2021. 2022 and 2020 coming. Oh, I got to send you that freestyle. Did I ever send you that freestyle? Coast Contra?
Oh, I got to hear.
Oh, man, I got to send you the most. Let's see. Dallas, Tampa, San Fran, Philly. Casey, this top to bottom. KC, Washington, Rams, Cleveland. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if this was beginning or end of the season.
Yeah, I'm about to say that list ain't right, dog.
That list ain't listed.
That list ain't listing right.
Well, maybe let's see. I look at 2022 because that's taking it based off what this season ended with. So right now, Philadelphia's 1, Cleveland's 2, Detroit 3, Tampa 4, Packers 5. I get you that.
Okay, hold on, wait. Where's Raiders?
I gotta find them.
Dog, Derek Carr was out there down there getting murdered, and you gonna sit there and tell me that he? No, the argument isn't that about the argument is.
God dang, Carr, I didn't think I'd still be scrolling.
Derek Carr given the same situation that Aaron Rodgers has, even this season.
29. By the way, Bears are 31.
Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Come on. You don't have to like Derek Carr. You could. Hey, listen. You can call it blasphemous, but you got to respect the fact that the Raiders on the offensive end, the Raiders have not done that man any favors, and he's produced for them.
On the offensive end, again, last season, 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard tight end. And he got the ball to him because they got over 1,000 yards. By the way,
he got the ball to him, which goes to show that he's getting the ball to him. No offensive line.
Plays a big part into it. Plays a big part into it. I get it. Plays a big part into it. But again, we've seen that with Aaron, and that season I believe he was or those 3 seasons I should say. I believe
Aaron Rodgers ever had an offensive line rated that low?
I want to say 2011. 2012, somewhere in that span of the 3
years into his career.
Huh?
He's got his first start. He didn't play for 3 years. When did he get drafted? 07?
Bro, that boy got drafted in like 04.
04.
Aaron Rodgers been in the league for a long time. He ain't played till 07. Yeah, but hey, listen, there was some bad teams in there. He was still putting up 28, 32, and high touchdown to interception ratios, still making the playoffs, made an NFC championship with a god-awful defense on them. I'm just saying, like, with these two things are not the same. You know what I'm saying? Well, the picture's a little bit different. Yeah, I mean,
watch this.
What you about to cook me on? Come on.
Could he do it with the same type of help? Now, you have an outlier. He had a godly season. And Aaron Rodgers is a legendary Hall of Fame QB.
Yeah.
I am never going to take that away.
Yeah.
But he also got to play behind the legendary Hall of Fame QB. He inherited a lot, whether we give him credit for that or not. The situation in itself was just vastly different. And all I'm saying is this. For you to always be in a situation where you kind of got to play from behind and you still produce since the moment you touch the field.
Yeah, but he be the reason sometimes they playing from behind, kid. That's what I'm saying.
And Aaron Rodgers is sometimes a reason why he got to do what he got to do. I watched Aaron Rodgers.
Here's the thing.
How many
turnovers has Aaron Rodgers had?
Aaron Rodgers is very protective with that football.
So like he's not putting his team in positions where
but also not taking chances at times.
Now,
like,
that I don't know what that was. That was last year. Well, I can't say that.
Talk to me.
I can't say that. No, I'll say this. I'll say this. Last year he took some chances. They did not work.
Did not work. And then sometimes he holds onto that ball. You're like, Aaron, what are you doing, baby? Like, you got to sling this pill. What are you doing?
I don't have many of them moments. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I mean.
I've had some moments when Jimmy Garoppolo was sitting there, I was like, Jimmy might actually be Aaron Rodgers.
Now, that's a different situation where I think that literally the 49ers defense was like, Devontae Adams is the only one that can play wide receiver on this team, huh?
Didn't Derek Carr have to outduel Josh Allen to make the playoffs?
No. Derek Carr had to beat out
he had to beat out a really
Chargers.
good QB
Chargers.
Herbert?
Justin Herbert. He had to beat out Justin Herbert to make it. Because remember, there was the conversation of they should both tie and then they'll both make the playoffs. I was like, who's this weak-minded?
That was interesting, stupid, and interesting.
Yeah, mostly stupid though. But no, like, but that's what I think, right? Like he beat out a second-year quarterback to get in the playoffs and a good team. Nick Bosa's on that team, or Joey, one of them.
I think it's second-year quarterback.
I think it's Nick. Huh? Oh, heck of a player, right? Heck of a player. But
Justin Herbert, most in NFL history, several key statistical categories.
Yeah, no, heck of a player.
2 seasons more passing yards than Lamar has in 4 or 5.
Oh yeah, heck of a player. Listen, I'm not taking nothing away from it, but also right, like,
that's wild.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Derek Carr lose his playoff game like 21 to 17 or something like that? Like, I can't kill
playoff game 21-17 with the 29th ranked offensive line. I believe it. I believe it. Everyone can't beat Joe Burrow, and I would say this: Joe Burrow made it to the Super Bowl. Bad offensive line because he was getting killed, but he had a top 5 receiver in the league.
What did he lose last year in the wild card game? Lost to Joe Burrow, 19-26. 282 passing yards.
How many INTs?
This don't say. This is just the Raiders record. Let me look up Derek Carr.
I'll say this: 282 passing yards. Again, who was he passing to? It's a big question. On top of that,
Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, well, at least Darren Waller is one of the best tight ends in the NFL.
Waller's getting his money because he's dotting him up.
He ain't got no choice. Ain't nobody else to throw to.
Well, thank you.
Hey,
sir.
I told you how the Raiders do business. Hey, brother, you got a felony and can't catch the football. Hey, man, we'll sign you. Hold on, let me see here. I'm trying to see the game by game.
Oh, he threw for more yards than Joe Burrow.
He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Passer rating of 69.
1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Did get sacked 3 times.
Joe Burrow threw for 244 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you can have more passing yards than me. That's fine. I care about the 7. You know what I'm saying? That's that same argument that like Bears fans was making. Like the Bears gave up the least amount of yards in between the end zones, and I was like, but the problem was they gave up the most touchdowns in the end zones.
I will say this, and this is my argument for Derek Carr.
Here's the thing: I agree that he's top 10. I'll give you that. But you had said that he was an elite quarterback, and I'm like, you get 5.
I think
you get 5 for that. Top 5 is elite.
No. Because if Matthew Stafford is now considered an elite quarterback, so should Derek Carr. Because I believe Derek Carr can give you the same production that Matthew Stafford. The only difference is roster and opportunity. We all knew Matthew Stafford was a dog. We knew he had nobody. let's judge him now. Let's give him somebody. Let's give him a second.
Oh, I'm with you.
And see what happens.
I'm with you. But here's my thing, right?
Because they got Matthew Stafford rated over him.
But
Matthew at like 6 or 7.
But here's why, right? In Detroit, with nothing, legitimate.
Megatron.
You want? Hey, you want to talk about somebody that had nothing?
Yeah, Megatron. He had Megatron.
He didn't have Megatron in 2020.
Never had Megatron.
He didn't have Megatron in 2020.
Oh, 2020, give it to him.
Nothing.
He has a season.
4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, a 96 quarterback rating.
Okay. Do me a favor. Name me a season where he's had a top receiver.
Who?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr had a top. I mean, if we talk about just wide receiver, he had one of the best tight ends in football last year.
The season before then.
Still had one of the best tight ends in football.
Somebody got to get that boy the ball, right? He got to throw it to him, right? Just like Megatron is one of the most legendary receivers because he had somebody get him the ball, right?
Sure.
All I'm saying is this. Derek Carr for the last 4 seasons has cracked 4,000 yards. He put up very similar stats to Matthew Stafford and had a higher higher rating. And the only thing you said is he had Waller.
So I'll say this. Because you asked, why is Matthew Stafford now considered elite? When did Megatron retire?
Oh, Megatron retired a while ago.
Look it up real quick. What year did he retire? I want to say 12, but it might be even before that. But I want to say 12.
I don't know why it's not coming up. Maybe because I looked up Megatron. I literally put in Megatron retired.
They like the
2016.
2016?
Yeah.
In 2016, he had 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. In 2017, the year after Megatron retired, 29-10, 4,400 yards, 99 quarterback rating. This is in Detroit, by the way. Megatron was the only thing left. He got hurt in 2018, 3,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Have a point there. All I'm saying is.
But what I'm saying is like Matthew Stafford's considered elite because with nothing, he did something.
You might have a point. I might have to walk back. I never said he wasn't. I'm just saying. I might have to walk that one back. It's okay.
Hey, man. Right. Hey, I'm glad we got this debate in, man. You got to go feed the kids. I got a whole nother show to do. I got to go do Locked On NBA. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and sticking around with us, just doing random banter out here. And we covered stuff. We talked about stuff. I think we had good topics. This man tweaking on Derek Carr. Hey, listen, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Derek Carr's got nothing but opportunity to shut me up. Because you ain't got
Lamar Jackson.
You said what?
He's a better QB than Lamar Jackson.
Well, okay.
Lamar Jackson didn't even make the list.
That's not even setting the bar. Like, why are we?
Lamar Jackson didn't even make the list.
Lamar Jackson doesn't pass that well.
Hey, I'm just saying.
It's a different NFL. You know what's crazy? All your favorite NFL quarterbacks probably weren't good passers, based on numbers.
All my favorite QBs were gunslingers.
Exactly.
My favorite QB to this time, if I had to put like a LeBron James 2012 on it, was when Tom Brady got Randy Moss. Oh, that thing was in the air.
Okay, that's a different situation. That was also that was modern era passing, right? I'm talking about like when Mike Vick was throwing the ball, when Donovan McNabb was throwing the ball.
Whoa! I wasn't a Mike Vick fan until he got. I wasn't a Mike Vick fan as far as his passing game until Philly.
So you love that 58% completion rating, huh?
I love the fact that he was a much better QB in Philly from at least what the eye test told me.
Oh yeah, for sure he was, but it's still 58%.
I saw that man launch a appeal. I was like,
Hey, he got all the talent in the world, right? But it's still like that's what I said. Like you go back and look at like our favorite quarterbacks from the 2000s, you'd be like, man, that man was killing it, brother. He was a great quarterback, and then you look and you be like, ooh,
I was a Peyton Manning fan.
Ooh,
I was a Peyton Manning fan. Drew Brees. You know who I like? The QB from the Rams. How we get on another conversation? Pat, I gotta go.
Hey man, you started it. I was just saying I was closing the show out. Hey man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us as always, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel, and from 11 to 1, we get into some national topics as well. As always, joined by the pettiest man alive, Mr. P Kid. I am Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.